How's everybody doing today? Finishing up double crops. Check this seed. We got 3 inches of rain, well, almost 3 to 3.5 between 4 o'clock Tuesday and Wednesday morning. I still got plenty in that side. It's Thursday. It's hardly any mud sticking on the tires, so after 3 inches of rain, it's going in pretty good. Get this tractor cab cleaned up. Been nice to wait another day, but they're going for I think a 1/4 to 1/2 inch tonight, and then another 3/4 of an inch tomorrow, and another 1/2 inch Friday night, well, tomorrow night. So that happens. We'll be able to get them in by 1st of July, so that's what I'd like to hope to do. It's 27th of June, so stuff I planted Sunday, they're already about up. Or there was some poking out of the ground yesterday. After wheat averaging 52 bushel, I gotta get some, hopefully get some better return off this wheat crop on double cropping beans in it. I sold my wheat out today for $537, and if you do the math, that's $291 an acre gross. Paying Dad $200 an acre cash rent on it. He doesn't like that, but that's what it is. I don't like it this year, but wheat seed costs $50 an acre. So that doesn't leave much for anything else. I think we got about $100 an acre in nitrogen. So that alone is already a negative. I'm messed up, and money was a little scarce this last fall, and I skipped the P&K. And this terrace here, where this used to be alfalfa. And any place that's had alfalfa in it, or like the backside of that terrace, I'd always drive kind of up on this terrace and overspread it while I was putting on fertilizer just to build up the ground. Well, any place that I did that, the wheat was making at least 70 to 90 bushel. So basically there was a 20 to 30 bushel increase on where fertilizer's been applied and kind of loaded up. That on back there was just pitiful. I think we've got a pH problem because Dad hates putting down lime. He says we don't need it, but I think we do. And so that's the way it is this year. Probably, if I figured in machine cost, well, machine costs, crop insurance, and So that nitrogen, well, just that nitrogen, I'm lost at $50 an acre. So add another $50 to $60 for machine costs. That comes up to $100 an acre loss. And then, of course, I pay myself. You know, I own the machines, so it really, you know, it costs diesel fuel and parts, but I still figure a $35 an acre cost, which is cheap on combining. Most people are 40 nowadays, but so that's $100 an acre out of my pocket times 120 acres. That's kind of a sickening feeling when you kind of lose that. So hopefully double crops do a little bit better than last year. I think they averaged 10 or 12. Barely paid for the seed. I think I pretty much broke even on it last year, which I'm okay with that because I had a really good wheat yield. But when you don't have a good wheat yield, you hope for something better. Now this field, kind of around the edge down there, I'm leaving about 10 acres out, and I'm going to put in a cover crop mix. Put a real heavy cover crop mix on it: sorghum, sudan, millet, probably get triticale, wheat. Well, not wheat. Well, I'll probably throw a couple old bags of wheat I got in it. I've got some leftover soybeans I'll probably throw in it from 2 years ago. They need to get used up. If they germinate, they germinate. If they don't, they don't. Would like to throw some sweet clover in it, some other, maybe something else. But I have 4 or 5 things I'm going to put in it just to help real thick and help build up organic matter. Because it gets thin over on that and way back on that hill. Plus, I'm kind of leaving out the wet spots. As much rain as we've had this year, even if it did cut off, it would, it still wouldn't raise nothing. So, but I got the 8095 Cummins on the 15-foot Great Plains. So the 8070 is still down south, hooked up to another Great Plains. Should have just had them bring it up here and been done with this a half hour, 2 hours ago or something. But, oh well. Make it. I only got about, maybe 10 acres left. About an hour left running. It's a little bit overkill having a 300 engine horsepower tractor on a 15-foot drill, but you do what you gotta do sometimes. Rides a heck of a lot smoother, I'll tell you that. Having duals on it, some bigger tires. But since we've been no-tilling most of this ground for quite a few years, it's really, water doesn't run off. It actually soaks in and firms up a lot faster than tilt ground will. So some people say, well, they can't no-till. Well, there might be some soils that are a challenge, but if you get a good practice and get a good crop rotation in on it, I think about anything will. I've been putting wheat in behind corn, not beans. Most guys do it behind beans, just for the fact that it helps with this drill. It kind of chews up the corn stalks, having the colder card on it. But when I was sowing the double crop beans there Sunday and Tuesday, in some of the real heavy clay areas, it just turned to powder. And normally, because we were getting a little dry, not really dry, but you know, it'd been some of it was getting kind of dry and a little hard. It just basically turned to powder when the disc went through it on the disc openers. And normally it didn't slice it. I mean, the clay just, I don't know, it just seemed like it worked up a lot better after these small grains in on it behind the corn. So, and I've noticed that on my other stuff that I've done that's got some clay in it. It just works better no-tilling beans behind wheat into that was behind corn. It just seems like it, well, I mean, I'm running basically 48 hours after 3 to 3.5 inches of rain, and no mud on the tires, just a little bit on the press wheels. I mean, that just seems kind of odd you'd be able to do that, but I'm doing it. Of course, there were some mud holes over there. There's some seams. They're running the BHEC, but one of these days they'll get fixed. I'd really like to take out this waterway and put it out in the tile, and then I don't have to do all this turning around. On this field, I've got about 5 acres I could gain on it. That would be decent ground. You get back over in that corner, it kind of gets hairy, but there's a lot of black dirt that I can kind of pull out of the ditches and stuff. I got a pond that I want to build, and that'd cover the clay up. But if I got this field fixed up, I would gain 5 acres, and I would be able to harvest it, plant it, do anything on it in probably 2 or 3 hours less time, because it would eliminate a lot of turning around in it. And I might not fully recover the money spent doing the dirt work, but in the hours I put on equipment and the wear and tear on equipment from going through ditches and rough spots, I would make my money back on everything I would spend to get it fixed up. But since Dad still owns the ground or whatnot, I can't, he gets pissy when I get to doing stuff like that. So you gotta maintain your farm. If you don't, it's going down in the Missouri River to the Mississippi to the ocean, and topsoil is too valuable to lose. I saw somebody posted on a Gleaner. They've got a quote on it, and I can't fully remember it, but it really stuck out. No matter how much technology we come up with, we still farm with the same 6 inches of topsoil, or have to farm off the same 6 inches of topsoil. And that's about one of the truest things I've ever seen. And if we don't take care of the topsoil, we can't raise good crops. And no matter how much fertility you throw to some of it, you can build it up to some extent. And no matter what they come out with in technology, or saying, well, if you put this on your planter and spend $30,000 to put all this on a 16-row planter, it will increase your yield 2 bushel an acre, you know, which is a bunch of horse crap. But no matter how much they come out with saying, well, you'll do a better job with this, or it'll do this, it'll increase yield by 10 bushel an acre. It doesn't. It's all about taking care of your ground first. And if we don't, we just won't have good nutrients in the food. That's kind of why I stick with what I run, because the technology-wise, this old thing, I can work on most of it myself. I don't have to pay a dealer $200 an hour. Combine. That's one reason why I stuck with leaner. You can work on them. You don't have to spend thousands at the dealer having them do it. It'd be nice to, but the amount of money I can save doing the work myself, and the machine being as simple as it is, it's just kind of a lifesaver for my farm. Of course, running older equipment, I don't have the repair costs. I've got repair costs, but when I get down to the nut cutting of it, I think I've got $10 an acre in repair costs a year, and the machine's paid for. So all the money guys spend for newer machines and the repair costs, I'm actually pocketing in my money in my pocket, and guys are spending for things they think they need but don't. But that's a whole nother deal. But I kind of got off. But that quote was just kind of, it makes a person think a little bit, because this equipment's just kind of getting outrageously expensive. Outrageous with, well, we have to have a basically refrigerator in it. Next thing they'll be doing is saying, well, we'll have a toilet in it. And it's like, well, go out to the woods if you gotta go, or something, or get outside. You know, you gotta get up out of that seat every once in a while. But they're trying to make it, because guys ain't really smart enough to run this equipment anymore. They play video games, and that's how they're trying to make this equipment, is be like a video game. Except if you back into something, it's $50,000 normally, or something like that, or $20,000. Nobody wants to really be a good operator. They think they can have all this electronic stuff to do it. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video and listened to the rant and whatnot. Hopefully the beans come up and everybody has a good 4th of July. So we'll see you on the next one.